everybody, happy Friday. It's the final lesson of Destination Reader for this week, but there will be more next week, and we will carry on reading The Hodgeheg by Dick King-Smith. I hope you've had lots of fun reading it. I certainly have. So let's carry on for today's lesson. Just like yesterday, there will be keywords in red that will help you with your learning, and there will be questions for you to answer in blue, and I will be asking you to do some writing. Before we begin, please check that you have a copy of the story, a strategy prompt sheet, a pencil or a pen, and a piece of paper or your home learning book for your writing. Press pause now and then press play when you're ready to start reading. The Hodgeheg by Dick King-Smith. Just like we've been doing all week, we are going to be asking questions again today. This is the final day of asking questions. Next week, we will be moving on to something new. You've really grown your skill of asking questions this week, and I hope now you've realised that the more questions you ask, the better you become at reading because you understand more and more. And we all know now, why do good readers ask questions? They ask questions to help us understand and to keep us interested in what we're reading. Now, vocabulary for today. My turn, retire. Your turn. My turn, retire. Your turn. Now, retire means to finish work. And in our story today, the hedgehogs retire. They finish their day and they go to sleep. The next word that we're going to come across is the word hibernation. My turn, hibernation. My turn, hibernation. Your turn. Now, hibernation is when animals or sometimes plants go to sleep for the winter. So somebody in our story today might start their hibernation. All right, we are on page 23, which is chapter 4. Have a little look, find chapter 4, page 23. Press pause if you need some more time, and then press play when you're ready to start reading. Just like every other day, I'm going to do the reading and you're going to follow along. So you can use your finger or you can use a ruler to help you guide along the page. And every now and then I will stop because I have some questions to ask. All right, let's get going. Chapter 4. Do you suppose he'll be all right? Said Ma anxiously. It was dawn. That's when the sun is coming up in the morning. It was dawn and they were about to retire for the day. The children were already asleep in a thick bed of fallen leaves. I should hope so, said Pa. Hodgeheg indeed. His brains are scrambled. Max slept the clock round and halfway round again. He did not stir till the evening of the following day. The shock had sent him into a kind of short, early hibernation. I've got some questions. Will Max sleep much longer? He's already slept for a whole day and a half. And are Ma and Pa really worried about him? Let's keep reading. When at last he woke, his sisters rushed to nuzzle at his nose, the safest nuzzling place for hedgehogs, with squeaks of concern, and his parents left their snail hunting and came trotting up. How do you feel, dear? Said Ma. Max considered this. His headache was almost gone, and he was thinking straight, but his speech, he found, would still not behave properly. I'm a bet bitter, thanks, he said. You had a nasty knock, said Pa. You need rest, said Ma. Why not get back into bed? We will bring you some nice slugs. I don't want to bed in to get, said Max. I feel quite wake-a-wide. In fact, I feel like walking for a go. Pa took a moment to work this one out. Then he said firmly, "You're not going anywhere, son. Do you hear me? You stay home in the garden for a while. Get your strength back. Understand?" "Yes, Pa," said Max. "I'll say what you do." And he did do what Pa had said, for a week or more. Peony, Pansy, and Petunia fussed over their brother. They brought him the fattest, slimiest slugs they could find and encouraged him to play their favourite game, hide and seek. Okay, I've got some questions. Is Max frustrated that he's not well enough to leave the garden? I think he wants to go exploring. And what other games will his sisters try to get him to play? Poor Max. Let's keep reading. However, this didn't work. When they hid, Max forgot to go and look for them. And when it was his turn, he forgot to go and hide. So busy was he thinking about the business of road crossing. The girls would count to 30 with their eyes shut, and when they opened them, Max would still be sitting there, thinking. Striped bits were no good, the zebra crossings. He didn't intend trying that again, but maybe, he thought, there were other methods. His determination to find out it doesn't say that. Let me read that again. His determination to find out was increased when Pa came back early one morning from a visit to the park with more bad news. Max overheard him telling Ma. "Another one gone," said Pa. "Not a relation," said Ma fearfully. "No," said Pa. "Chap from number 9A, just up the road. I didn't know him well, you understand, but he always seemed a decent sort of hog. He was crossing just in front of me, not 10 minutes ago. Misjudged it. Motorbike got him. Leaves a wife and 6 kids." That evening, Max waited until he was sure that Pa was out of the way in the garden of number 5B. The people in 5A, that's where Max lives, always put out bread and milk for Max's family. But the people in 5B often provided something much better for their hedgehogs: tinned dog food. Every evening, Pa crept through the dividing hedge to see if he could nick a saucer of munchy meat before his neighbour woke from the day's sleep. "Ma," said Max, "I'm walking for a go." Ma was quick at translating by now. "Did Pa say you could go?" she said. "No," said Max, "but he couldn't say I didn't." And before Ma could do anything, he trotted off along the garden path. "Oh, Max," cried his Ma, "are you sure you'll be all right?" "Yes, of course," said Max. "I'll be quite KO. Oh dear, I've got some questions. What will happen if Max gets hurt again? Will other hedgehogs understand Max if he needs to ask for help? What questions do you have? Ask your questions out loud, to yourself or to an adult or to your favourite teddy bear, and then make a note of your ideas on a piece of paper or in your home learning book. Press pause and then press play once you've completed that task. Press pause now. Ooh, let's keep reading. Max is going for a walk. I don't know if this is a good idea. Let's find out what happens. Once outside the garden gate, he turned left and set off up the road in the opposite direction to his previous effort. By now, he was used to the noise and the brightness and confident that he was safe from traffic as long as he did not step down into the road. When a human passed, he stood still. The creatures did not notice you, he found, if you did not move. He trotted on, past the garden of number 9A, with its widow and 6 kids. until the row of houses ended and a high factory wall began. So high that he would not have been able to read the notice on it beside the factory entrance. Max speed 5 miles per hour, it said. Max is a short way of saying maximum, so the fastest you're allowed to go is 5 miles per hour, which is really slow. It's quite slow. Like when you ride your bike, you probably go maybe about 5 miles per hour. Max kept going, a good deal more slowly this time. And then suddenly, once again, he saw not far ahead what he was seeking. Again, there were people crossing the street. This time, they did not go in ones and twos at random, but waited all together. And then, at some signal, he supposed, crossed at the same time. Max drew nearer until he could hear at intervals a high, rapid beep, 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 peeping noise, at the sound of which the traffic stopped and the people walked over in safety. I've got some questions. What has Max found? And will Max cross the road safely? What questions do you have? Ask your questions out loud, then write them down. Press pause and press play once you're ready to carry on reading. Press pause now. Let's keep reading. Creeping closer still, tight up against the wall, he finally reached the crossing place. And now he could see this new magic method. The bunch of humans stood and watched, just above their heads, a picture of a little red man standing quite still. The people stood quite still. Then suddenly, the little red man disappeared, and underneath him there was a picture of a little green man walking, swinging his arms. The people walked, swinging their arms, while the high, rapid peep, peep, peeping noise warned the traffic not to move. Max sat and watched for quite a long time, fascinated by the red man and the green man. He rather wished they could have been red hedgehog and a green hedgehog, but that was not really important. As long as hedgehogs could cross here safely, that was all he had to prove, and the sooner the better. He edged forward until he was just behind the waiting humans and watched tensely for the little green man to walk. I've got some questions. Has Max finally found a safe way to cross the road? I think he's found some traffic lights. And will the traffic lights stay green for long enough for him to cross? Hedgehogs move much slower than humans, don't they? What questions do you have? Ask your questions out loud and then write them down. Press pause and then press play once you've finished that task. Press pause now. Oh my goodness me, I hope Max makes it across the road safely. Now, it says here tomorrow, but it won't be tomorrow, everybody. It will be Monday. On Monday, we will continue reading The Hodgeheg, and we will carry on asking questions. No, we won't. Miss Borum, you didn't change the slide. On Monday, we're going to be doing something new. We'll still be reading The Hodgeheg, though. If you want to carry on making the list of questions that you have so far, then you definitely can do that. Otherwise, have a really lovely weekend and make sure you log on Monday so that we can read the next part of The Hodgeheg together. Well done, everyone. Have a great weekend.